Alright, what's up y'all, it's LakerFan here. As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we're here to ask what was the best badge in NBA 2K21 current gen. So, hope you all enjoyed the video. If you do, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties. All good stuff, let's try this one to 500 likes. Now listen, I know when a lot of you guys click on these ranking videos, you just skip all the way to the end and figure out what I actually put for everything. I'm gonna go ahead and do something different for this time so that you don't have to do that. So, what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna reveal every tier one by one and not give any description on the badges or anything like that or what I think of them. I'm just going to show F tier, then E tier, D, C, B, A, S, and we're going to go on. So we're going to do that right away. Now, one thing to just keep in mind, we're going to color code these. So any shooting badge is going to be green, any playmaking badge is going to be yellow, any finishing badge is going to be blue, and then any defensive badge is going to be red. So we got the two good old Maestros right here. We got Pump Fake and Pass Fake Maestro. Then we have Ice and Veins and Dream Shake. This is going to make up our F tier. In the E tier, we're going to have Stop and Go, Teardropper, Pick and Popper, Fast Break Finisher, Cross Key Scorer, Slippery Off Ball, and Deep Fades. Now for the D tier, you can see this is pretty packed. This is going to be how it is for the B, C, and D tier. We got Acrobat, Lob City Passer, Pogo Stick, Pickpocket, Back Down Punisher, Steady Shooter, Difficult Shots, Tireless Defender, Moving Truck, Break Starter, Pick and Roller, and Drop Stepper. And as I said, the C tier is going to be extremely packed as well. So we got Off Ball Pest, Putback Boss, Tireless Shooter, Relentless, Downhill, Needle Threader, Box, Pro Touch, Deep Hooks, Post Spin, Defensive Leader, Flexible Release, Pick Dodger, Post Move Lockdown, Lightning Reflexes, Worm, Fancy Footwork, Consistent Finisher, Clutch Shooter, and Lob City Finisher, making up the C tier. And as if these two tiers weren't already packed enough, we have B tier with Unpluckable, Corner Specialist, Intimidator, Space Creator, Dimer, Trapper, Contact Finisher, Catch and Shoot, Hot Start, Flashy Passer, Deadeye, Bailout, Volume Shooter, Interceptor, Brick Wall, Giant Slayer, Chase Down Artist, and Floor General. Now for the A tier, things are going to get a lot more interesting. We got Hot Zone Hunter, Quick First Step, Handles for Days, Clamps, Rebound Chaser, Rim Protector, and Green Machine. Some of the more essential badges for whatever your position may be. Really, really important. You could even make the case that some of these are S tier. And now, in the S tier, we have the absolute God tier badges. Now, I kind of layered these ones right here. So Showtime and Heart Crusher gotta be like S+. They're S+ tier. And then Range Extender and Ankle Breaker are kind of just like, this one, obviously Range Extender is more of an essential badge. You need it if you're the point guard position. However, obviously for the big men in the lockdown, it's not really necessary at all. Or even the big man if you're just talking 2v2. So this is obviously just a point guard badge. Ankle Breaker is one that's very OP and you can really just spam it and abuse it in a sense, but it's not something that everybody needs to run. I probably could have swapped Quick First Step and Ankle Breaker, to be completely honest, where this one is more of an essential and it's really hard to ever play the game without it. And then with Ankle Breaker, it's just more of a in spam usage, or in a situation where you are going to absolutely just abuse your opponent with it. It's really stupid too. You can absolutely just floor somebody by spamming the right moves enough times, and then boom, just like that, you got a wide open three. Unless obviously the big man helps up, but there's only so much the big man can do when it comes to this game with the speed boost glitching and stuff like that. So long story short, I just feel like Ankle Breaker does belong in this S tier. If you have a disagreement with anything on here though, feel free to let me know. Now, I know a lot of you guys probably, this is all you came for. You didn't really come here for my analysis on things. So if you did enjoy me putting this together and you want to leave your feedback, feel free to leave it in the comments. Tell me if I'm stupid for this. All right, feel free to let me know. But if you do enjoy the video, feel free to drop a like if you want to just support. Now anyway, we're going to give our, I would say, analysis on a lot of the things, and we'll start from top down. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the interesting stuff, then go down. So we've already started with the top tier badges. Showtime and Heart Crusher are just absolutely nuts. Showtime giving crazy takeover boost for any flashy dunk that you get, and then obviously Heart Crusher completely negating the entire opposing team, their takeover, for you getting steals, blocks, whatever it may be. Absolutely insane when it comes to the takeover progress you get in this game with these two badges right here. Overall, for the sake of the title of the video, what is the best badge in 2K21 current gen, it definitely stems from one of these two right here, Heart Crusher or Showtime. Now, personally, I feel like the reason I'm going to go with Showtime is because it's a huge staple in people's offensive game. So many people literally will just ride on the fact they can run takeover the entire game as a point guard because they just hit their big on the slip 2 times. He gets a Showtime dunk, boom, just like that. Go crazy the whole rest of the game with sharp take, can't even be guarded. That's my personal opinion. I think Heart Crusher is the very close runner-up at number 2. Then for A tier, we got some of the essentials depending on what your position is. So for the point guards and lockdowns out there, Hot Zone Hunter is obviously a must-have badge. For the point guards specifically, Quick First Step and Handles for Days. I would even say for the bigs at this point, Quick First Step seems pretty abundantly used when it comes to the stage 3v3. Then obviously, I would say clamps should be had on any build, but for point guards that can just kind of hide in the corner, not really necessary. But obviously for lockdowns, bigs, got to have this whatever the highest level is you can get. Rebound chaser, super important for bigs. I would say these are the two biggest badges personally, and then probably clamps finds its way somewhere in there. Bigs are obviously kind of an extension of a lockdown as well. You're still functioning like a lock. So I would say clamps, rebound chaser, rim protector, super important for those guys. Then green machine, really big time for point guards, obviously. So now as we get into this like B tier, C tier, D tier range where there's a ton of badges to talk about, I'm probably going to skip over a lot of these just so you guys are clear. Now, if you, again, want to leave your feedback on what you think of a special badge, like if you think needle threader is absolutely goated for some reason, or if you think clutch shooter is blessed, like it's just crazy, or I'm sleeping on contact finisher, because I low-key could be. Feel free to let me know. I do feel like though in the meta of this game, anything to do with finishing kind of gets weighed down, as you can see by the color coding. I thought this was really cool too, because if you kind of read by the color coding, you'll see what badges are really the most dominant and which ones really end up kind of in this low tier range, where you can see a lot of the low tier stuff is playmaking and shooting badges because there's a lot of useless ones. However, this B tier is flooded with playmaking and shooting badges, or same with the A tier is obviously making up over half of the list with just shooting and playmaking badges. Defense really doesn't have a low basement, and it actually has a pretty high ceiling, I would say as well, according to this list, where I have Heart Crusher toward the S, and then I have 3 defensive badges in the A tier, then a ton in the B tier, a ton in the C tier, and the lowest in the D tier. I feel like there's no useless badges, and we are going to skip around here a little bit. I just want to let you guys know that from this point. So as far as the F tier goes, these are just badges that literally have 0 use when it comes to stage, 3v3, 2v2, parked 3v3, 2v2, whatever it may be. Dream Shake, absolute garbage, obviously, especially if you factor in the fact of 3v3 where post scoring is just literally extinct. And then on top of that, it's just a horrible badge. Ice and Veins literally is only good for Pro-Am, and even at that, it only works in like the late game anyway. Pass Fake and Pump Fake, Maestro, what are you even doing if you're running these badges? Who even put these in the game in the first place? Let alone made it where it made it from 2K20 to 2K21. Why did it even last a whole year? And they never even changed anything about it. And I just don't know why it's in the game. Same for the E tier. These are badges that still have some function, but I really don't like them. So for instance, Teardropper, there's literally no point in running Teardropper, really, unless maybe you play Pro-Am and maybe under some crazy function in the game that's actually a good thing to do, but I highly doubt it. Pick and Popper is down here because of the fact that outside bigs are really not meta in this game. Now, if you are an outside big, this is definitely higher up on the list. I wanted to factor in the meta of the game though, just to keep everything in mind for you guys. So just like I said, you keep that in mind as the viewer. But you can kind of catch the drift of this E tier. It's pretty much badges that do work, but they're not actually very valuable, or they're just not that good. Now, there is one in here that I believe doesn't work at all, but out of just appeasing the few people out there that do believe it works, I put Stop and Go in the E tier instead of the F. Obviously, the thought process behind this at least makes sense, but I really personally don't believe that this actually helps you stop and go or anything like that, or help you quick stop at all. I mean, a lot of top point guards would agree with that as well. Stop and go, really trash, not worth putting any badges on in my opinion at all. Alright, so now that we got this bottom tier stuff out of the way, again, we're going to kind of just jump around from D to C to B, whatever I feel like talking about pretty much. And again, you can feel free to leave your feedback in the comments. I know I've already said this like 4 times, but feel free to do so. Now, as far as the lowest defensive badges, we have them in the D tier. Things like Tireless Defender, Moving Truck, Pickpocket, Pogo Stick. I think Pogo got nerfed like crazy. If you would have seen my 2K20 tier list throughout the whole course of the year, I always had Pogo Stick at least A tier or higher, sometimes even S at the beginning of the game, where this was just game-changing for undersized bigs. Made it so you can hang easy and then still rebound even after contesting something down low. Now for 2v2, that was way more important and valuable. For 3v3, Pogo's never really been a dominant like top tier badge anyway, because obviously it's more perimeter centric. But with all that in mind, it got nerfed like crazy in this game. I would say Pogo could belong in the E tier, but it at least makes sense to run, or like a rhyme and reason behind it, and it's not completely useless either. So that's why this D tier is more so just badges that aren't really good, but I can understand why if you're in a specific role or a specific play style that you would like to use them. So for instance, Pickpocket. If you're somebody that is aggressive on ball and you like to go for steals, I can understand why you would want this badge. However, me personally, I think reaching in this game is awful. It really gets you out of position, and you got to stay in front of the defender, or you as a defender have to stay in front of the point guard at all times pretty much, and reaching is just going to put you out of position. It's very rare you get pluck steals anyway. The game's meta is all about bump steal, bump steal, bump steal with anything that it comes to lockdowns with. And then things like moving truck, I kind of just knocked down because who really cares about the 1v1 court when it comes to this tier list? If you're playing 1v1, I would say this is definitely a higher tier badge. For the sake of 3v3 and 2v2 though, who even comes in here and post scores if we're being real? And obviously there's only so much that stopping them from backing you down is going to do. Plus, people don't really back down with their post scores that consistently anyway. They're just going to pivot down or post spin down, whatever it is, because if they're going to back you down, it's just going to unfortunately lead you to being more susceptible to getting the chair pulled on you. And that's why we also have back down Punisher in the D tier as well. Now, as far as the post scoring badges go, we do have post spin in the C tier, and we also have deep hooks in the C tier as well. And then as far as all the other badges, we have, like I said, drop stepper right here, then back down Punisher, and then moving truck for the counter to it in the D tier. There are still other badges in this D tier, obviously, but I don't think any of the other ones are worth talking about, like break starter, lob passer, steady, difficult, acrobat, all types of stuff like that, pick and roller. I will say with steady, it's more of a troll badge, but at the same time, if you can shoot through the lower rating that you get on your wide open shots and actually use this to an extent, it would be kind of interesting. But in this game, it's already hard enough to get anything more than like a 15-20% contest unless you took an absolute awful shot. So I don't really think there's any purpose in this, but if you run with somebody, I'll just put it like this. If you are somebody that runs with a big that has like Hall of Fame Showtime, right? And you hit him on like 2 slips, something like that, and you just run the whole game pretty much on your takeover, I could actually understand why you want this. I mean, it would be pretty nasty to be completely honest, where if you're just running with sharp take the whole time, it'd be really hard for you to miss wide open. And then it adds on the fact that you can just hit contested stuff like crazy. It low-key might be kind of slept on, to be completely honest with you. So then for the C tier, like we already mentioned, we have a couple of the post badges right here. I think this is what pretty much caps out when it comes to the post scoring badges. I will say Pro Touch, you could maybe even knock up as far as the fact that you kind of need to time your post hooks pretty well now. And I don't really know too much about that. I hopped on as soon as they said Zen's got patched on current gen and tried to hop on the 1v1 court. This dude still like hit literally 10 white hooks in a row and green 1 out of all 11 of the hooks that he shot. So I don't really agree with though, you know, post scores being nerfed thing, but maybe I just suck. Who knows? Anyway, other badges that are in this list, we have box, off ball pest, putback boss. I only have putback boss up here because of the pausing and stuff like that, where obviously you grab the rebound, run backwards and hold X, boom, you just yam on somebody's head. That's the only reason I even have this high. I will say obviously running this on bronze allows you to get putback dunks. Do I really care about that? No, not really from a competitive standpoint, but it is kind of cool for the sake of maybe like mixtapes, just showing out, doing cool stuff, whatever it may be. Either way, like I said, the main reason I even have this high is for the pause and like dunks when you get it off the offensive rebound and run backwards and hold X. Pick dodger. Honestly, very debatable to have this in the C tier. You could make the case that this belongs in the B. If there's any badge that might belong in the B tier, I would say it's pretty much between pick dodger and maybe needle threader. Now, the only reason I have needle threader so low, I low-key do like the badge, and what I've seen from it on next gen as well, not that it's the same game, but it really does make a difference. And then on current gen, I do think it makes a difference as well. However, current gen stage 3s, it's very straightforward. If you can't pass the ball with no needle threader, you just suck. It's as simple as that. I can't even believe that there's some people out here who struggle to pass the ball in this current gen stuff. Like literally, you as a point guard are getting double teamed and they will just leave a wide open big man in the paint or a wide open dude in the corner. It's straightforward passes that take no reads. They take no IQ at all to actually hit the guy. So it's kind of what I nerf needle threader a little bit on this tier list for. Now, the only other controversial badge I want to talk about in the C tier is lightning reflexes. I personally don't even like the badge. It's in my personal tier list of just my opinion, it would probably be like E tier. I would never touch this badge after trying it a couple times and I just hate it. Same with worm. I really don't like worm, but these are badges that a lot of people do run, and I wanted to kind of show love to the community in that aspect and at least voice their opinions a little bit and give their input on this tier list right here. And I do understand the reasoning for worm. Now, me personally, I don't like lightning reflexes at all. I think it's literally just a badge that doesn't work. There are people out there though that think this helps you move around better on defense, so be it. I just left that to be their opinion that factors into this list. I also don't like off-ball pest that much either, but there's also people who think that it helps you move around off-ball and stop people from bump them, stop them from moving like that. And this game really does feature in a lot of dexing and off-ball movement when the ball's in the corner. Point guard is running around like crazy, trying to just stay open, and honestly, you do get a lot of open shots off that in those rare situations. I think another one that might be a little bit lower than some people think it should be is defensive leader as well. Obviously, it's something that helps like 2 of your teammates. The problem is I don't think there's a lot of point guards out there that can really even run this. Now, its counterpart on the offensive end is obviously floor general. The reason I have this a tier above defensive leader, I personally feel like correct me if I'm wrong on this too, Loki, but I think you have to be a Hall of Fame defensive badge person to have defensive leader in the first place. Like, I don't think a point guard can just have 3 defensive badges, like if he's a play sharp, and just run defensive leader with those 3 defensive badges. So correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty positive that's how it goes. However, you could be somebody that's a point guard and not a playmaking build, and you could still get gold floor general. So if you're someone like me who made your big man, quote unquote, a 6'7" or 6'8" pure red point guard, you can run gold floor general, and your point guard is going to get +3 3-pointer and +3 ball handle, and then your corner guy is going to get +3 3-pointer as well. Really big time badge to run. Is probably one of the best badges I can even run with my 6'7" point guard that's a pure red that I quote unquote run as the big man. I don't know if people are following that, but anyway. You can obviously run this as the point guard, even if your big man doesn't have the badge unlocked or anything like that, and then boom, you're going to be able to boost your corner guy's 3-pointer by like 4. Obviously, it's pretty essential for him as well, like, considering this game really, really needs to have solid 3-pointer to be able to shoot from that corner. Obviously, Dimer kind of factors in the same way as well. Trapper is one that a lot of the stage guys love, and they at least run it on bronze, and it's super fire for just getting point guards tied up, give them really slow pass animations. Maybe it takes the big man out of a Showtime dunk because of it, all types of stuff like that. Very important badge for the stage stuff. Intimidator is definitely a little bit lower on the list than it would be in previous years. It's just not as good. You can't get crazy contests on the perimeter or even the interior for that matter. I guess interior is a little bit different, but anyway. Obviously, things like Interceptor are in here. I'm not going to talk about everything, like I said. I think Hot Start is more of a comp badge to run, where if you're somebody who doesn't miss the first couple of shots, you get rolling, it's really hard to start missing, honestly, halfway through there. You get your takeover off like a Showtime pass or something like that as well, and you just got Hot Start firing off. You got Showtime boosting your takeover and stuff like that. You're rolling with Sharp Take. You got all types of stuff like Hot Zone Hunter, Range Extender helping you, Green Machine. It just, honestly, shooting in this game was very simplified by the fact that Showtime boosts your takeover as a point guard for just passing the ball to somebody. And then on top of that, like I said, it's just all the shooting badges that are actually good and factor into shooting better, really. Now, we will end with this discussion right here. Catch and shoot and corner specialist, obviously, they need to be a pretty high tier badge for the sake of the lockdowns. It's pretty much the 2 best badges you can run, other than Hot Zone Hunter, which obviously you definitely want to run as the corner specialist in, you know, the lockdown spot. But one thing that's going to be very hotly debated right here is contact finisher being so low. Obviously, every big's going to run this. It makes no sense not to. You're obviously going to be trying to get a couple situations like that. However, I just think if you're in a situation where you're getting a contact dunk in stage 3s, you're playing the game wrong. It's all about literally just hitting wide open big men on a slip, Showtime dunk, simple as that. Point guard, do your thing from 3, get 3-pointers, maybe hit your corner every now and then and, you know, get the rare 3-pointer from him. I just feel like if you're getting contact dunks, you're doing it wrong. I see all these dudes doing the pause and dunk and stuff like that too, where, like I said, O-board, run out, dunk on a dude. At the end of the day, it's 2 points, and you didn't get a Showtime dunk off it. So it's pretty much just a waste of time and a waste of an opportunity on offense, if you ask me. At least to take a contested finish like that, because there is still a very high chance that you miss that. And it, at the end of the day, would just be a wasted possession that you as a big man just wanted to step out of your lane and just do some BS. So anyway, that is all for the video. I hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, for to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on them noties, all that good stuff. And if you made it to the end of the video, put badge in the comments to show support you made all the way through. Now, like I said, if we can get this to 500 likes, I would really appreciate that. If anything more happens, like 800, and you made it to the end of the video and you want to show some love, I really would appreciate that. But anyway, hope y'all enjoyed, man. And one last thing, like I said, feel free to leave your feedback in the comments as far as any badge that you think I missed or anything that you think I misjudged, anything that should be lower, higher, whatever it may be. If you think I showed a little bit too much love to defense or something like that, or showed too much love to the shooting. I think this was a very coincidental thing that I had one badge from each category in the S tier, by the way. I didn't mean to do this. And again, I think if you wanted to swap any of the 2 badges, you could maybe swap Quick First Step and Ankle Breaker. These 2 badges right here are by far the best A tiers. They could really debatably even be in the S tier, but I think these ones right here are just far and above super dominant or super needed badges, where Ankle Breaker can absolutely just abuse people as far as like what it does for making them completely taken out of the play. Or Range Extender obviously is super essential for point guards to run. Heart Crusher, super dominant. It's banned in stage wagers, all types, you know, stage gameplay, wagers, whatever it may be. Showtime, sometimes it's even limited in stage gameplays or wagers, whatever it may be. They force you to just put it on bronze. Obviously, it's a staple in a lot of people's game who play for anything goes in just the regular stage. Honestly, crazy badge. And all of these badges right here are just insane. Anyway, like I said, that's all for the video. Hope y'all enjoyed. And other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.